What is meditation? Why do we do it? Is it the same as prayer? What's going on because I can't concentrate? Why can't I do it right? Can someone throw me a bone here when it comes to meditation? The answer is yes. So, meditation. First of all, what is meditation? Meditation means, the word meditation means to become familiar. To become familiar. So, I could meditate on this bracelet. I could stare at it. I could check it out. The weight, right? The colors. I could count them. I could become familiar with this. Just say, that's kind of cool. It's kind of like this. That's called meditation. Now that is when I'm focusing. So meditation can be, please remember this, to focus on or defocus from. So write that down. So meditation, first of all, is to become familiar. To become familiar with what? The focusing on, or to become familiar with the defocusing from. And so the question is, are we meditating on a specific thing in the physical plane or spiritual plane? Am I meditating on my emotions, my feelings? Am I becoming familiar with myself? Am I becoming familiar with my higher self? Am I becoming familiar with the power of now, as Eckhart Tolle taught us so much about? What is it I'm becoming familiar with? So that would be the next step in meditation, to ask yourself, with which am I seeking to become familiar? Now, when one seeks to become familiar, it is not uncommon that one has a quote-unquote spiritual experience. To make this an agenda, to say, I'm going to go hang out with divine and God's going to tell me something and I'm going to know the meaning of life, that's cool, and it might work out that way. What often happens is when we're not conscious of our intentions can be our undoing. So if you have an intention that might be a bit ambitious for your current comfort with meditation, it could make it difficult for you to do. So what I would suggest for now is that you first decide, I'm going to become familiar with relaxation. Boom. You've already succeeded, right? So if you say, I'm going to become familiar with relaxation, I'm going to become familiar with being here and now and in peace. Well, if you do that, you're going to change your life. Why? Because people struggle with anxiety and stress, and there's unwellness in our physical bodies and unwellness in our psyche, and just that power of presence and that peaceful presence can activate wellness, can activate healing, can activate an openness to the divine. So many good things will happen if you simply say, I choose to become familiar with relaxation. That alone would be a beautiful meditation. So, the next thing I want to highlight is this. Is meditation the same as prayer? Often they commingle, and I think it's a beautiful thing just between you and I. Let me clarify the distinction. To meditate is to become familiar with whatever, as we've discussed. I might be focusing on or defocusing from, and to become familiar with the formless. So I might become familiar with form, or I might choose to meditate to become familiar with the formless. And we're going to talk more about that in a few moments. And when we move in the direction of the formless, we often find interactions with divine. And so people think prayer and meditation are interchangeable. Here's the distinction. Prayer is dialogue with divine. That is prayer. Prayer is a two-way communication to say, I dialogue with the divine. I seek to be heard, understood, accepted, and respected. I seek to hear, understand, respect, and accept the impartations of divine. And so dialogue with divine is prayer, and that can be done in many ways. That's another video. When talking about meditation, it is not uncommon, not required, and a beautiful gift when an encounter with divine occurs. Okay, good. So then let's begin to move more in the direction of probably what you're asking. So what most people are asking about is, what is meditation? Why do people do it? And that kind of thing. And how do I do it? So almost everyone who seeks to meditate is seeking to become familiar with the formless. And as Dr. Joe Dispenza says, to become no thing, nowhere, no time. And to be in that formlessness is to become reconnected with the unified field, if you will, to become connected with the quantum realm. These are some of the terms given to it. It is that place where we realize we're all part of one beautiful love energy. And for those of you who are theists, if you believe in God, whether you're Christian or Muslim or different faiths, I want you to know that the belief in the oneness is not a denial of the deity. And so I happen to be a fully committed Christ follower, and I understand that biblically it is a sound principle to say that God is everywhere, and then if I become connected to that beautiful love energy, I can feel the oneness, which is called the kingdom of love, for those curious about the terminology. So to become familiar with the formless is actually coming into connection with divine, also known as prayer, but without the intention of dialogue. Here's the distinction. I hang out with my buddies. I don't know about you, I like to hang out with my buddy Augustine. He's behind the camera. That's why I said Augustine. If I said someone else, he might take it personally. But Augustine's in the room, so I'm going to talk about Augustine. So sometimes I want to hang out with Augustine. If he says, what are we going to do? I'm like, I don't care, I just want to hang out. Well, that's a weird thing. Sometimes people hang out without an agenda, not to watch a movie or play a game or to accomplish this or to accomplish that, just to be. And this is the distinction between meditation and prayer when it comes with the interaction of divine. The meditation just isn't, I'm coming to seek, to resolve, to ask, to request, or to understand. I came to hang out with divine. That's what meditation is. Prayer is dialogue with, meditation is to hang out with, just to be. And so it's a beautiful, agenda-free experience. Beautiful. Now, I hope you're enjoying this. One of the biggest challenges people say to me is they say, well, when I try and do this, I close my eyes and I do the prayer, and then my mind starts to wander. Here's what I want you to know. If that happens, your mind is always wandering. The only difference is when you attempt to meditate, you become familiar, which is meditation, you become familiar with the ongoing noise in your brain. And so to meditate is to become familiar. And once you're aware, oh, I have all this noise, let me explain you. It didn't just start when you started meditating. That's the noise 24/7. That's why you can wake up from a full night's sleep exhausted, because of the ongoing narrative of noise. So to become aware of that, to become familiar in meditation is not a fail. This is a success. You succeeded at becoming familiar with that which interrupts your beautiful flow in present peace. So, congratulations, you've heard the noise. You heard the voices in your head. I hope there's not too many voices, but you get the idea. So to meditate is to become familiar. And if the first thing you're familiar with is, my head is noisy. Yeah, good, now you know. So the next step would be to say, how do I best manage that? Beautiful, but let's start with nothing has gone wrong. Good, next. When we meditate, I'll give you a few steps. I'm not doing a full meditation video here, but I do want you to know that when we meditate, the first thing we do is get into a physiology where my torso is straight, whether I'm lying down or sitting up, whether you've got your knees bent in a cool way and you've got this going on, whatever. When you're in a relaxed position where your torso is straight and your body can hold itself with little effort, you're in a physiology that is supportive of the idea of meditation. Then we move into breathing, deep diaphragmatic breathing. And there's various methods, but you'll want to take in lots of beautiful healing oxygen that flood your bloodstream and calm you down. And when you do that, it releases beautiful healing hormones from your brain. Your brain is more of a drugstore than a computer, so when you do deep diaphragmatic intentional breathing, outside of the unconscious breathing, but you choose to breathe deeply and relax, your whole body says, oh, this is important, let's heal. And so beautiful things happen just from doing that. The relaxed physiology and deep breathing. Now, on top of that, you can add muscle relaxation. Normally what people do is they start at one end of the body or the other, and they just start, every exhale, they release more body tension. So they'll start at their toes, right? And then when they exhale, they feel the toe muscles release. Then they move up and up and down. However, don't get too caught up in the rules. But what you do want to do is have a relaxed posture, a straight torso, deep diaphragmatic breathing, relaxed deep diaphragmatic breathing, and then muscle relaxation. And that's it. Now, when your brain starts dancing, as we were talking about, just say, oh, isn't that cute? I just remembered my dog's name from when I was 5 years old. Cool. Now let's get back to breathing. Oh, I forgot to pick up bread. Now get back to breathing. Oh, my sister's mad at me. Yeah, get back to breathing. But don't be like, oh, that shouldn't have happened. It happened. Awareness. Breathe. So you merely release whatever the thought is and go back to the breathing. Feel the breath. Feel the breath. And once you're feeling your breath, go back to relaxing the muscles. And you continue to do this until you feel like, I am so zenned out here. I'm completely physically relaxed. I got nothing more to relax. Then you enter into the mantra phase. Now the mantra is just a repeated idea or thought. And I suggest it be something simple. One of my more complex one is everything is perfect and everything is improving. Everything is perfect and everything is improving. And I simply think about that thought. Think about that thought. Meditate on that thought. So I'm going from the form, physical form, the noise around me, to now relaxation. And then I have the form of breathing, and then I shift from that form to the form of the mantra. And then as I'm doing nothing left but the mantra takes me from the form to the formless. And then all of a sudden I enter into this beautiful realm. And you say, it never worked. It's fine. Just keep doing it. Eventually it's going to work. So then the next thing I want to say about it is this. When you feel like I'm not having a mystical experience, or I'm not having this happen or that happen, I want you to really accept that what you're doing is you are training yourself, get this, back into your natural state. So now I'm going to say to you what I think is very important, which is the state of meditation, oneness with the love energy of the universe, the oneness with your higher consciousness, your spiritual self, and divine love. This is your natural state and my natural state. This physical world experience is actually not the natural state. We are visitors here. We're divine love ambassadors. You're a spiritual being currently existing in physical form. And when we meditate, we actually go home for a moment and relax for a moment. So once you get there, once you can let go of the noise of this world, the noise of the brain, once you get the hang of this, you realize there's nothing more natural in the world than to meditate. Now the benefits are out of this world, literally, and physiological healing, psychological healing, energy to spare. There is more miracles to be found in meditation than you'd believe. So let me just say this, it's your natural state. No matter what happens when you relax, you're doing the right thing. And the more you do it, the easier and better it gets until you become supernatural, until you, my dear friend, unleash and unlock your spiritual being. And this is where we all want to be. So be patient, enjoy, relax. Worst case scenario, you had a few minutes to yourself where everyone left you alone. Relax. Everything's perfect, everything's improving, including you. Practice meditation and become familiar with you. Become familiar with your spiritual state. It's perfect, it's improving. You and I are as well. Blessings.